You have questions, and hopefully I have some good answers for you. Last week, I posted on my YouTube community page, as well as on Instagram, that I would be collecting questions for today's Q&A video. The questions could be anything bag related, and we have several to go through in today's video. Thank you so much for everyone who submitted a question. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, that means you should probably double check that you are subscribed to my channel. When you are subscribed, you will see all of my YouTube community posts. That is also where I am sharing Louis Vuitton new releases. Now, for the questions that we are answering in today's video, I am sharing my own thoughts based on my own personal experiences, but what's most important is listen to yourself and trust your own instincts. Let's get into the questions now. These are in no particular order. First, we have a question from Naomi saying that she's in love with the Fendi Peekaboo in brown soft leather. What would be your pros and cons? I'm new to your channel. Maybe you have a video, but I couldn't find one. So first of all, welcome to the channel. We are so happy to have you here. And if you looked for any videos on Fendi but you couldn't find them, it's because I don't have any. I actually don't own any Fendi bags, even though I am interested in the brand. I've just never purchased any. So take what I say with a grain of salt. And if anyone else has experience with the Fendi Soft Peekaboo, definitely chime in the comments. But I'm going to share with you my thoughts based on what I've seen. I'll put a photo up here. This is the bag I think you're talking about. I think this is a beautiful bag. I love the look of it. The leather looks gorgeous, and I really love the subtle Fendi monogram on the inside. The one con I can see right off the bat is the shoulder strap. It looks like there's not a crossbody option on this. It's just shoulder carry only. Also, it is pretty expensive. It's about $6,000. This is the price without taxes included. So that's pretty expensive. I know a lot of Fendi bags don't hold on to resale value too well. So if that's a concern for you, I would, just think about that price. Is this something that you want to spend that much money on to get new from the boutique? Or would you be willing to wait over the next few months or maybe even over the next year and see how these pop up on the resale market and maybe look for one there? I would also suggest looking at the Fendi Way, which is a similar style. It's a similar silhouette, but it's a lot less expensive. I have a question about the Fendi Way next, so let's move on to that question. This is from LV Luxury on Instagram. She asked, here's a question for you about the Fendi Way bag. Is it worth it? And do you see it becoming the next it bag by Fendi? I like that it's serious and classic on the outside with a playful/fun interior. I like the blue interior and the one with the purple interior. I love the purple interior too. I think this is a gorgeous bag. And I do think this is worth the price because it has the very classic silhouette, which is similar to the Fendi Peekaboo, but it is about $2,000 less. This comes in at $3,900 US. The other thing that I like about the Fendi Way more than the Peekaboo is that this does not have a divider in the middle. This is one large open compartment. So what I would do with this bag personally, I would go for the Fendi Way over the Fendi Peekaboo, and I would just get a bag organizer to put inside, and you have a lot more room to work with without that divider, and just use an organizer inside your bag. I love the purple interior on this one as well. That would be my choice. In terms of this being the next it bag by Fendi, I'm not sure about that because, as you know, they just switched creative directors. Silvia Venturini, Fendi just showed her last collection. And whenever there's a new creative director, there tends to be some overhaul of the designs. So we know that the classics like the Peekaboo and the Baguette aren't going anywhere. But in terms of all the other Fendi designs, usually there are some pieces that are discontinued when a new creative director comes in and they like to push their new designs. So in terms of being the next it bag, I'm not really sure, but I do think this is a really great silhouette. I really love this bag, and I do think it has a really fair price point. Moving on to questions about Louis Vuitton bags. This is from My Accessory Love. The question is, I have never sold a bag before, but they just don't fit anymore. I tried to sell my barely used Neo Noe in epi leather to Fashionphile, and it's so ridiculous how little they offer. What do you recommend I do? Thanks. So this is a really unfortunate reality right now with the luxury resale market. This is just not a seller's market. A lot of resellers have an overabundance of inventory, and because they have too much inventory, the buyout prices are really low. So I would say shop around for quotes. Other resellers that I like to get quotes from include Rebag, Yugi's Closet, Luxe du Jour. Those are some of the other major platforms, and I would just try to get as many quotes as possible. I also recommend looking into smaller independent resellers because they will tend to work with you more on a price that works for both of you. So a few that I use include Rebecca B Luxury as well as Lusso and Luxe, and I will have everyone's webpage and Instagram page linked below so you can connect with these resellers. I've sold with both of them in the past, and a great thing is that when you go with an independent reseller, if you have a specific price in mind, you can suggest that to them and see what they say, and then together you can work to come together on a price that you are comfortable selling your bag at and what they think they can sell the bag at based on other market prices. So try reaching out to a smaller reseller and you may have some better luck there. Specifically for Louis Vuitton, another reseller is Candi Sweet Love for LV. She sells a lot on Instagram lives as well as YouTube lives as well. So I'll have Candi's channel linked below. But that would be my suggestion. The next question is from an anonymous submitter. She asked, I don't know if I should sell my Louis Vuitton Pochette Metis in black empreinte leather that I have never used. I even bought the Dress Up Your Purse Paris 15 in the same color as a replacement, which I have probably used 3 times so far. I love the organization, the back pocket, the top handle, and the leather of the Pochette Metis and how gorgeous it looks. But it's a bit big for me, except when I'm wearing a winter coat. I would be glad to receive your advice. So I think you pretty much answered your own question. If you're not using it, why are you hanging on to the bag? What purpose is that bag serving in your life if you're not using it? I would say sell it. You do have a replacement bag. The Paris 15 from Dress Up Your Purse is the same style. It has the same organization. The main difference, in my opinion, is just the fact that it doesn't have the monogrammed leather. And even the Paris 15 bag, you say you've only used it 3 times. So personally, I would sell the Pochette Metis if you're not using it. We have another anonymous question, and on screen, the sizes of the bags are reversed, but I am going to read the question with the correct sizes. The question is, I have an Odeon bag with black trim. I love the look of the bag, but it's been sitting in my closet for 2 years because it's just too big for me. I am petite and the bag just overtakes me. I don't know why I was talked into getting the larger one. I have the original receipt, box, etc. I'm not sure where to sell it. I actually would like the PM version, but again, I don't know where to buy it to make sure it's reputable. So yes, I would say if the size is too big for you, just like the last question, sell it. If it's sitting in a dust bag in your closet, what purpose does this bag have in your life? You're not getting any use out of it, so definitely sell it. I would recommend the same resellers that I mentioned earlier in this video. You can go with the larger platforms. They're a little bit safer. Places like Fashion File, Rebag, Yugi's Closet, they are very reputable and they are the larger reselling platforms. You can also go with smaller independent resellers. Ones that I have personally worked with include Lusso and Luxe, Rebecca B Luxury, as well as Candi's Sweet Love for LV. What I would also recommend to you, because you are looking to sell and buy a bag, I would look into doing a trade. A lot of resellers will offer higher quotes if you will buy a bag when you sell your bag. So I would look into that. Hello, my friends. I look a little bit different right now because I am recording this on a different day. I was editing my video footage and discovered that 2 of the questions I answered didn't record, and I don't want to leave out those questions from this video, so I am recording this on another day. After these 2 questions, we'll jump back into the original video footage. The first question is about the Louis Vuitton Bumbag. She asks, I have been considering getting the High Rise Bumbag ever since it launched, but I've always been scared of it cracking. My original Bumbag cracked, so I sold it. I currently have 3 Speedy 20s, 1 in monogram and 2 in empreinte leather. Should I sell one of my empreinte Speedy 20s and finally get the high rise? I'm going to answer this in 2 separate parts. First, should you sell one of these Speedy 20s? I think it really depends how often do you use all of them. And for your 2 Speedies in leather, do you use them both equally? Do they serve different purposes? For example, is one in a neutral like black and then the other one is in a pop of color? Does it make sense to only keep one? So I think it really depends how often you use all of them. And if there is one that you don't use very often, I would say you could probably sell it and then just keep using your remaining 2. As for buying the High Rise Bumbag, I think if you still want it after all these years and the desire hasn't gone away, it's probably a safe bet to go ahead and buy it, especially since you've had a Bumbag before and you know you like that style. As for the cracking, I can't give any personal experience on that because I don't have the High Rise Bumbag. And from what I've heard, I have seen some people complain about cracking, and then I have seen other reviews where people say they've been using the bag for years and it hasn't cracked. So I think you have like a 50-50 chance whether or not it will crack. I'm not really sure. I've seen reviews saying it does and it doesn't crack. But if you really want to avoid that situation, it sounds like you also like empreinte leather bags from Louis Vuitton. So I would suggest maybe looking at it in empreinte leather and getting that version instead. It is a $500 price difference, but when we're talking about the price of an LV bag, $500 isn't that much more if it can give you peace of mind and you don't have to worry about any canvas cracking. Right now, it's only available in black, but it will be released in blue, this beautiful blue color. I'll put a picture on screen this month in February. I believe it is open for pre-orders right now. So if you like either of those colors, I would suggest maybe getting the high rise in leather as opposed to monogram canvas. Now for the second question. She's asking, I plan to purchase a black leather flap handbag for myself for a milestone birthday, and I can't decide what to purchase. I've always wanted a Chanel classic flap, but I'm not sure I would carry it enough to justify the price. I'm also considering a Chanel mini, YSL Lulu, and I would also consider a Louis Vuitton bag in black empreinte leather. First of all, congratulations on your milestone birthday. Wishing you a very happy early birthday. And when it comes to a milestone birthday, this is a celebration. This is something special that you want to get for yourself. So I would say if you really want a Chanel bag, go ahead and get yourself that Chanel bag. It's your birthday, it's a milestone. I would go big and celebrate it. I have to say, when it comes to justifying the price of a Chanel bag and not using that often, what I would say is my experience with the Chanel mini. This is the Chanel reissue in the mini size. I did buy this pre-loved, so I got it below retail, and this is not an everyday bag for me. I actually don't use it that often because this is the mini, so it's pretty small. It's perfect for date night, but it's a little too small for me to use as an everyday bag. But I love this bag. This is definitely a forever bag for me. So even though I don't use it every day, I've had it for a few years. I'm planning on keeping it for many more years. And when I do use it, it just makes that time that I'm using it feel a little bit more special because it's not an everyday bag. And whenever I have an excuse to use this bag, I will go to my closet and use it. So even though it's not my most used bag, it brings me a lot of joy and happiness whenever I do use it. So I really love this. And I would say if you've had your eye on a Chanel bag for a long time, I would go ahead and get it. If you're open to buying pre-loved, there are some really great deals on Chanel bags right now. Some of the lowest prices I've seen recently. I mentioned a lot of other resellers earlier in this video. I would check them out and just keep looking to see if any good deals come up. So that would be my recommendation. As for the Louis Vuitton bags in black empreinte leather, I would suggest either the Metis East West or the Diane. Both of those are a little bit bigger, so it sounds like if you're looking to use this on a day-to-day basis or at least more often to justify the price of it, those are really great sized bags. The Diane is a little bit bigger and it fits a little bit more. It is a little more casual with the jacquard fabric crossbody strap, but it does have a plain leather shoulder strap and the straps are removable so you could switch it out. Same with the Pochette Metis. This is a little bit smaller. It has more organization inside the bag, which eats up a little bit of room. So it has a smaller capacity, but I really love these. They're casual. You could wear them a lot. So I think both of those are really great options for a Louis Vuitton bag. And I would love to know, come back in the comments and share what you eventually decide to purchase. And again, happy birthday. I was mistaken, and there were actually 3 questions that did not record. So one more question before we get back to the original footage. This is from Rachel. She asks, I have been considering getting the Alma BB in black leather, but I'm curious if it will remain structured enough to keep the sturdiness of the Alma BB or if it will look saggy over time since it doesn't have the same structured bottom. The black leather version is in empreinte leather, so it's a softer leather and the construction is a little bit different. It's just a side panel which goes down to piping and then that connects the side panel to the bottom panel. You don't have that extra leather around the side like on the traditional canvas Alma BB. I don't think you will have to worry about this bag sagging if you keep it supported. So for example, here is my Never Full BB. This is the same construction where you just have the leather, the piping, and then the bottom panel. And I keep this bag stuffed with a bag pillow. And you can see there's like really no sagging in these corners. So as long as you keep the bag supported, I don't think you will have an issue with sagging. The Neverfull is much bigger than the Alma BB. And just because the Alma BB is so much smaller, it'll naturally keep more of its shape because there's less room for it to sag, if that makes sense. I don't know if I explained that very well. So basically, when you're not using the bag, if you're worried about sagging, I like to use a bag pillow. This one was gifted to me. There's the name right there, Arc Diary. So this is a bag pillow and it's shaped in the exact shape of the bag, so you get that nice corner support in the bottom. You don't have to spend extra money on a bag pillow. You can stuff the bag yourself. Just make sure you really get into those corners with the stuffing to support it. And then when you are using the bag, just use an insert or a bag organizer. That'll help give some extra support to those corners when the bag is in use. And I think as long as you do that, you should be fine and not have to worry about any sagging. Moving on to our last question. Oh no, 2 more questions. I'm sorry. This was from a private DM. I am thinking of selling my side trunk in monogram canvas. Brand new, never worn, or removed from the box. I'm thinking of selling it for the denim side trunk. I feel like the insatiable desire for LV denim takes it from the fad column to the smart money column. So yes, I would say if you've never even taken your monogram canvas side trunk out of the box, why are we hanging on to it? What are we doing? There's no point keeping it in a box if you've never used it, you've never even taken it out of the box. So it's probably pretty safe to sell. I don't know how long you've had your side trunk for. If you've had it a long time, like at least several months, and you've never even taken it out of the box, I would sell it. But I would also ask yourself, why have you never used that bag? Is the side trunk silhouette one that will work for you? Does it make sense to buy a side trunk in denim if you've never used that bag? Louis Vuitton is releasing more bags in denim in March. Is there another silhouette that you like that maybe you would use more often that's coming out in denim? I would maybe think about that. You know, I do think if you really want a Louis Vuitton denim bag, go for it, but just make sure you get it in a silhouette that works for you. So my only concern would be getting a side trunk if you've never used the one that you already have. Hopefully that answer makes sense, and feel free to DM me. We can chat about this more. The final question is for a fun summer bag, and I love this question so much. The question is deciding between an Alma BB in monogram original pink or the Goyard Bonbonniere in yellow, burgundy, or light blue for a fun summer bag. I think those are both great options. I love the Alma BB. This is such a great summer bag. I absolutely love it. And the pink monogram original version is phenomenal. It is such a fun, juicy pink. However, this bag might not still be available. It's currently sold out online. You may be able to ask your local store or contact a client advisor and see if they can order one for you. But if it's sold out, I think the Bonbonniere is another great option. I am not a Goyard fan typically, but I love this bag. I think it's super fun. I like the shape of it. I love that it has a nice, generous shoulder drop as well. And this is a really fun bag for summer. Certain colors may be sold out. I think the burgundy sold out like right after it was released, but yellow and blue may be available. I actually recently saw that Cassie Thorpe did an unboxing of this bag. I think hers was in yellow too. So definitely check out that video if you haven't already, but I love the Bonbonniere. I think it's a really fun, cute bag for summer, and I love the color options that you picked as well. But really, my advice would just be get whichever one you can get. The Alma BB is really popular. I think it might be sold out. The Bonbonniere, I heard, is selling out in certain colors as well. So I would just go for whichever one you can get. I think they're both cute, and I think they're both great options. And those are all the questions I had for today. Thank you so much to everyone who submitted questions. If you have any answers or any thoughts on these questions, please do share them in the comments section below. And if you enjoyed this Q&A style video, please, please, please give this video a thumbs up. Like this video to let me know that you enjoyed this style of video, and I will certainly do more Q&As in the future. In the meantime, here's another video for you to watch next, and I'll see you in the next one.